Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to thank the witnesses first for their patience this morning and their thoroughgoing answers. This has been a long hearing, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the fact that although you all are no longer, other than the chief in Washington, no longer in your positions, you've come forward to give us the benefit of your observations. It seems to me one of the clear, and there's no, I'm not going to plow this ground again, but one of the clear uh, uh, pieces of information we've learned today is an intelligence failure. Not necessarily a failure of intelligence, but a failure to communicate intelligence. And I think that's something that we all need to think about. And you can be very helpful to us in suggesting what should be the chain of communication in terms of intelligence. You can't adequately prepare if you don't have the information, and it clearly seems to me there were some failures. Uh, Chief Sund, I have a specific question for you, and it's more forward-looking, but I'd appreciate your insights. The question is, how do we protect the Capitol from either an angry mob or probably more likely one or two or three uh, malignant actors without turning it into a fortress? How do we allow the American people to go in the rotunda, to tour the Capitol, to picnic on the grounds, to uh, play with their kids? Uh, that it seems to me that going forward, that's really one of the challenges. We want security, but we don't. I would hate to see the U.S. Capitol turned into a fortress. Your thoughts, Mr. Sund?
I think you need your mic on there. Thank you.
There we go, ma'am. Thank you very much. I'll go back to your original comment with the intelligence and the communications. I think we have the process in place for when we have credible intelligence, especially high-level credible intelligence, to quickly get to where it needs to be. I think my big concern is, on the collection, on how wide we're casting the net to collect our intelligence that would have revealed this was coming, and we were facing this type of mass insurrection. I definitely want to say the Capitol Police is well-versed, well-trained on handling what you're talking about, a Mumbai-style attack. A couple of, attackers armed, active shooter events, things like that. Those are the type of events that we are ready for. It is the thousands of people that are storming the Capitol that creates a big issue with us. So when you talk about, physical security, and I'd mentioned it in my opening statement and one of the initial questions, I think there are options for maintaining an open environment, an open campus type of environment, while putting some substantial physical security measures in place, both for the building, the skin of the building, as well as farther out. Time and distance is our best friend, and the most important thing is to provide some kind of protection farther out, so the officers have more more time to deal with it. But that's something that I think should be discussed in a closed or classified session.
I understand, but and I hope that is a discussion, Madam Chair, that we can have. I think that's a very important because we just, as I say, we don't want the United States Capitol to be so protected that it's inaccessible to the American people. Amplify on your intelligence. It seems to intelligence answer. It seems to me you're saying it's communicated adequately, but we didn't have the collection that we needed. For example, the Norfolk, Virginia letter. Is it how does it get filtered, and where does it get filtered?
Again, the Norfolk Field Office letter. That's something to consider, because even on the 5th at noon on the 5th, I held a joint conference call with the members of the board, my executive team, a dozen of the top law enforcement and military officials from Washington, D.C., where we discussed the upcoming events on the 6th, the upcoming events on for the inauguration, any kind of threats, any kind of issues we may have. And even though we had the director of the field office, for the Washington field office of the FBI, nothing was mentioned about it. So I think my big point is, I think we need to look out. There's significant evidence coming out that the insurrection that occurred on the 6th was planned, coordinated well in advance, coordinated almost to the point where you're looking between a number of states where you're having events coordinated. And it's that detection that I think would have been key to putting the effective security in place for this event.
finally, when we're talking about providing this level of security, is there a playbook? Is there a contingency plan that's literally sitting on a shelf somewhere that says demonstrations around the Capitol? Here's what you do. I mean, some of the timing things, for example, the deployment of the National Guard might have been faster had there been a predetermined set of phone numbers, actions, steps to be taken. Does that exist? And if not, should it exist?
To the level where you're including the National Guard, there is a process where we handle special events and demonstrations. But I tend to agree that we need to streamline the process that we request the National Guard in the future.
And yeah, because clearly there was a delay there that was an important part of the response at the time. Madam Chair, I want to thank these witnesses. I think they've really made a contribution, and they made a contribution when they were serving in their respective positions. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you.